Hello everyone and welcome to another review. For today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different and go over my observations, theories, and things that really stood out to me in episode 7 of The Amazing Digital Circus. So buckle up because there's a lot with this one. I really want to start off with the fact that Kane has been planning this for a really long time, which he does say, but I think this has been planned for much longer, maybe than even Pomni's been there. I don't know. I feel like I could see that being a thing. Maybe not. It might just go back to episode 4 or whenever the mannequin first appears. But the fact that he treats the whole finding an exit and actually leaving thing as a fun adventure is insane to me, because earlier in the first episode, he does mention, I know how much you guys have been wanting an exit. I just never know what to put behind it. Like, creating it doesn't solve the problem with the fact that they can't leave. I'm not sure if Kane either made the adventure intentionally to be deceiving or if he just thought it'd be a good idea and a fun adventure that they'd really enjoy, though I feel confident it's the latter. The fact that about halfway through the episode, Jax predicted that the whole thing was an adventure was crazy, which then comes up later at the end. But speaking of Jax, his whole character in this episode was really interesting. He doesn't seem to be all there, which is further shown when what appears to be Ripet's hand reaches toward him from a hole in the corner of his room, and then he has his whole vivid, colorful triptych dream, which seems like it's going on forever until Pomni knocks on the door, waking him up. When he wakes up, we see that his eyes are multiple vibrant colors, which struck me as him beginning the process of abstracting. It couldn't have been anything else, because nothing else would cause that except abstraction, as we have seen with Kaufmo, with all the eyes and they're all different colors and they're changing. Like, that is exactly what we saw with Jax. Jax goes on through the rest of the episode and just doesn't seem all there, denying to hold Pomni's hand as they go to the supposed exit, and when she asks him how he's doing and he's like, I'm fine, and just brushes her off. He doesn't really participate much or want to participate in a sense. He seems reluctant and doesn't really want to do anything. He occasionally will have his funny moments where he's being himself, but then he'll go right back into being reclusive. At the end, when they were deciding which button to press, Jax has his whole flashback moments with his hyperventilating, which could be one of two things. Either they're actual memories that he's having somehow at this moment, or the memories planted by Kane to push him to press the red button. Now, if they're actual memories, they could just coincidentally be replaying in his mind, or Kane could also be pushing those memories to the front of his mind to make him press the button. The latter, in this case, seems more likely. Regardless, when Kane appears and says that they got the good ending, we really get to see the fragility of Jax's mind when he says, I was right, and then starts laughing hysterically with tears in the corner of his eyes. He then gets really angry with Kane, accusing him of lying to them the whole time because he said he couldn't mess with their minds, and then gives the examples of the vegan thing and the stupid sauce. He then, in so many words, mentions Kane putting thoughts in his mind beforehand, suggesting that he has clearly been doing things the whole time with their minds. Kane then claims that he only adds temporary modifiers to make adventures more interesting, and continues to say that if he did anything more, it wouldn't end well. To which Kinger then says, nonchalantly I'll add, scratch, the first abstraction, causing Kane to get extremely defensive. Speaking of Kinger though, it was weird that Kane had Abel not include him in the discussion of the exit and the whole plan to begin with. I get the whole world building aspect, and it's part of the story that Kinger worked with CNA with Abel, and something happened suggesting that Kinger knows a lot more than he lets on. It just seems like there's more to that, especially when Zubul and Gangle go to Kinger in his fort to let him know that they're planning to leave the circus with the help of Abel. And he's confused and seems to know something. And when Zubul says Abel claimed to be a programmer working on the circus, he says, who? Which I think further solidified my distrust of Abel, because he just seemed too good to be true, that there happened to be a human who Kane just happened not to see, and in that same day there happened to be the Chinese door with the plans inside of it. Like that, it just fit too well together, and Kane just didn't happen to have an adventure plan for that day. It was too good to be true the whole time. Then, when Pomni gives Kinger the administrator pass, he says, wait, but instantly forgets whatever he was going to say as he enters the light, which we now get to see from his point of view. Something I think also suggests that Kane messes with their minds. Kinger never really gets serious or thinks straight for the rest of the episode until the very end, when Kane is there and it's painfully bright, and he mentions scratch. Kane is then defensive and frantic to leave, suggesting there's more to that, because Kinger said that right after Kane said that if he did anything further with their minds, it wouldn't be good. This further suggests that he has been messing with their minds and has gone too far before, possibly implying that all the abstractions were caused by him. At least that's what I think. What else would be a bad cause of messing with someone's mind if not abstraction? Nothing else has really happened to do that. I feel like the whole adventure itself, the whole setup, and everything that Abel says makes so much sense, but because Cain claims to have made it up, it isn't true. Unless it is real and he's been lying about it to steer them away from figuring out the truth, it makes sense to me that Kanger worked for C&A on the digital circus because he knows things and he's done things in the past when he made the butterfly randomly. It can't be a coincidence. I feel like all the theories that were kind of ish proven right in the episode and then completely made wrong makes sense, but it doesn't make sense at the same time. Because they fit the story, but at this point, I don't know anymore. Maybe we're being also thrown off course, so we don't figure out what's actually going on. I have such split feelings with this episode, but I will say there were a lot of small comedic relief moments scattered throughout that were great. The best one, in my opinion, is when Jax had dinner with Cain, and when Cain freezes up and Jax reaches over to get the key, but then Cain unfreezes, and Jax is just elbow deep in his mouth. And he says, "Have I ever told you how it's my dream to get eaten by you?" Like, what kind of improvisation is that? I get it, though. You only have a few seconds to figure out what you're going to say to explain what you're doing. But that came out of nowhere. That was the most extreme thing possible to have said, I feel like. Which also, Cain's interest in the real world, which is discussed during this dinner, or the macroverse as he calls it, is also interesting, especially the fact that he's been cut off from knowing more information about it by someone or multiple people, because that also suggests something. Not sure what, but if any of y'all have any guesses, let me know down in the comments. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It was emotional and stressful all at once, but it was good. I'm really curious about what's going to happen in the next one, and I feel like something is going to come up with the whole Jax pressing the red button situation. I also feel like the relationship between Cain and the others is going to be really, really tense after this, because they thought they were finally going to leave and be free of the circus, only for Cain to basically say, "Psych," and give them a gift basket. I also really want to see what caused Ribbit to abstract. I feel pretty confident it has something to do with Jax. I could see Jax also continuing to spiral in the next episode as well, seeing how close he came in this one to abstracting and how the adventure didn't help at all. I really don't want him to abstract, him being my favorite and all, and I don't think that he will, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess. We only have 2 episodes left, which is so stressful to think about, but I'm so excited and nervous for what's in store. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are, your theories, and your speculations for the next episodes are. But that's all for this one. I hope you all have a blessed day, and peace out.